friends. My name is Ed Decosta. I'm an executive coach, and you have found my Get Edified video blog. This week's lesson is called Motion to Dismiss. This is a lesson in silencing your inner critic from none other than the 1993 blockbuster movie, My Cousin Vinny, which was starring Joe Pesci, and his girlfriend was Marissa Tomei, who actually won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress that year. In any case, as an executive coach, I'm working with senior executives about their leadership and their effectiveness, personal effectiveness, professional effectiveness, and the effectiveness of their team. And invariably, it involves their confidence and their influence over others. And quite often, how you manifest yourself on the outside is very much related and actually comes from how you feel about yourself on the inside. So we often speak about the gremlin, the inner critic, that inner voice that tells you that, and there are so many versions of it, but I'll just give you a few. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. No one of my race, gender, ethnicity does anything. No one from my family has been successful. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not really a leader. Leaders are born, they're not made. I can't become a better leader. There's all of these self-limiting beliefs, which if you hold on to them, will prove themselves to be true in your mind, because you will not go beyond those self-limiting beliefs. And so there's an exercise that I do called taking your gremlin to court, that essentially, and I'm just going to give you the Reader's Digest condensed version, is about really giving your gremlin that day in court, hearing what it says. I mean, exhausting what it says. Write it down. More often than not, in fact, almost every time, what the client realizes is that the criticisms from the gremlin are superficial in nature. There's really no data. There's no evidence. There's no proof behind the criticism, behind the so-called charge against you, if you want to continue with the courtroom metaphor. And so you force the gremlin. That means, again, you're imagining the times in your life where you get fearful or anxious, and you hear a voice, you hear, or you have a recurring thought that prevents you from taking action. Write those down, capture them, maybe one on each sheet of paper. Maybe there's 4 or 5 things that are recurring. You have 4 or 5 sheets of paper. Draw a line and then make your case against those superficial, unwarranted claims. But this is where it gets fun. Because the claims are often very superficial, you're not good enough. Well, what does that mean? Good enough for what? And what gives the gremlin any authority or credibility in calling you not good enough? It's just some superficial, it's like a little child criticizing another one on a playground. It does nothing. It has no weight to it. But in any case, you have fun with it and prove it wrong. You prove it so wrong that in your imagination, in this image of a courtroom, that the gremlin actually becomes withdrawn and very sad, even angry, and wants to give up. So just about a week and a half ago, I was speaking to a client, and we're going through this exercise. And he says, "You mean like this, the final scene in My Cousin Vinny, where Joe Pesci's character is, he cross-examines." You have to watch the whole movie, but he's talking to Marissa Tomei, and they basically prove the charges against Joe Pesci's cousin, Ralph Macchio was the actor, prove that they were not guilty of the robbery murder. They prove it beyond any shadow of a doubt, to the point where the prosecuting attorney says they like to drop all charges, dismiss all charges. And I'd never thought of that movie in the context of silencing your gremlin. We had a good laugh about it. And I suggest that you do the same. Prove the case against the gremlin, against that inner critic, so strongly that the next time the circumstances arise where that little voice in your head might say that thing, instead of being a source of pain or fear or paralysis, it becomes a source of levity, of smiling and of laughing. And of course, when you're feeling that way, you're far more likely to take the action that you formerly would not take. So in any case, keep beating on that gremlin, keep making the case against it until it throws its hands up and says, I'd like to make a motion to dismiss all charges. Again, I hope you found this helpful. My name is Ed Decosta, and wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world of ours, make it a great day.